Dear students, I am Dr. Basaraj Nakki, Associate Professor of History, Government First Aid College, Jahandeli, Uttar Kannada District. This video program is of Karnataka University BA first semester of Indian History, session number 71. In this video, I am going to present before you the cultural contributions of the Kushanas, in which I am covering about art, architecture, religion, literature, and administration. Let us see about art and architecture or contributions of the Kushanas to the art and architecture. The architecture developed during the Kushana period is classified as Gandhara school and Mathura school. The Gandhara school of art flourished between 50 BC to 500 AD. It is also called as Greco-Roman or Greco-Buddhist and Indo-Greek. It clearly exhibits the influence of Roman, Greek or Hellenistic art. It mostly flourished in the areas of Afghanistan and present northwestern India. The prominent locations were Takshila, Peshawar, Begram and Bamiyan. The area is mostly northwestern frontier of India and the region called the Gandhar Pradesh. Hence it is called as Gandhara School of Art. Here Gandhara means it is an area in present Afghanistan and Pakistan area. It was inspired by Buddhism, hence it was named as Greco-Buddhist art. This style of art was closely associated with the Mahayana Buddhism, and hence the main theme of this art was Lord Buddha and Bodhisattva. One example of Gandhara style of art is the Bamiyan Buddha statue. The freestanding structures included many chaityas, viharas and stupas. The craftsmen of this school mostly used white stone to prepare the images. The art pieces of Gandhara school are found at Peshawar and Lahore museums today. The chief characteristics are of realistic representation of human figures, distinguished muscles of the body and transparent garments. So this is the special feature of Gandhara art. Hence Gandhara school was considered the best school amongst the schools of Indian sculpture. Let us see the important characteristics are life, like statues of Buddha, that is Sanchi and Bharat. His existence was shown only by symbols such as footprints, the Bodhi tree, a vacant seat or the umbrella. A great care was taken to show the physical features of figure in as natural a way as possible. Much attention was paid in depicting every fold and turn of the dress, curly hairstyle also. Rich ornaments, customs, drapery were used most enthusiastically in this school. A great attention was paid to the smoothness and polish of the statues and sculptures. The Gandhara art was mostly used to make statues of Buddha and the images of Lord Buddha. They are carved in grey sandstone, lime, stucco, cement, terracotta and clay. These are the important characteristics, and let us see which are the mudras can be seen on the statues of Buddha. That is Abhay Mudra, which signifies no fear, Dhyana Mudra, that is meditation, Dharma Chakra Mudra, that is preaching the principles, Bhumi Sparsha, that is touching the earth. So these are the four mudras shown on the statues of Gautama Buddha. Let us see about the Mathura school. This is the second style of art that developed during Kushanas. This refers to a particular school of Indian art almost entirely surviving in the form of sculpture starting in the 2nd century BCE, which is centered on the city of Mathura in Uttar Pradesh of central northern India. During a period in which Buddhism, Jainism together with Hinduism flourished in India, Mathura was the first artistic center to produce devotional icons for all the three faiths, that is Buddhism, Jainism and Hinduism. Chronologically, Mathuran sculpture becomes prominent after Mauryan art, the art of the Mauryan Empire. It is said to represent a sharp break with previous Mauryan style either in scale, material or style. Mathura became India's most important architecture production center from the 2nd century BC, with its highly recognizable and red sandstone statues being admired and exported all over India. In particular, it was in Mathura that the distinctive Indian convention of giving sacred figures multiple body parts, especially heads and arms, first became common in art around 4th century BC, initially exclusively in Hindu figures as it derived from the Vedic text. The art of Mathura is often contrasted with the Greco-Buddhist art of Gandhara, which developed from its first century. In particular, there is a debate about the origin of Buddha image and role played by each school of art. Before the creation of an image of the Buddha, probably around the first century, Indian Buddhist art, as seen in Brihat and Sanchi, has essentially been an iconic avoiding representation of the Buddha, but rather relying on its symbols such as wheel of law and Bodhi tree. Let us see the important characteristics of Mathura art are grand and solid images. The erotism is discernible in the images. Expression of spirituality. The halo around the head of Buddha was profusely decorated. Images of Brahminical gods and goddesses are also found, such as Shiva, Surya, Brahma, Vishnu, Kubera, etc. Various images of cross-legged and naked Tirthankaras are found. This school produced the images of Yaksha and Yakshini, that is belongs to Jainism, and most of the statues are made in white spotted red sandstone is used widely. Let us see the images of Gandhara art. Here there are two rows. In the first row, we are seeing about 5 images. They represent the Gandhara art, in which we can see the various mudras, and the middle the head of the statue is of Kanishka. So in this way, the statues of Kanishka, Buddha sitting in meditation, and here other Tirthankaras can be seen. So this is represent the Gandhara art. This is another style of art of Mathura. So here images are beautifully carved. This is of red sandstone, and the earlier images are of white and red. So in this way, this is also in red sandstone. Thus, Mathura and Gandhara school of art represent various images. Now let us see the contributions of Kushanas to the religion. In the field of religion, the rulers of Kushana dynasty followed the policy of religious toleration. During this period, the people attained religious freedom and they could embrace any religion according to their own will. Although Kanishka embraced Buddhism and he gave royal support to the Mahayana branch of Buddhism, he never forced anybody to embrace it. As a result of the efforts of Kanishka, it spread to Japan, Tibet, China, and Central Asia. He also convened the fourth Buddhist council at Kundalavana in Kashmir in order to bridge the differences prevailed between Hinayana and Mahayana sects of Buddhism. The learned scholars of Buddhism like Ashwagosha, Vasumitra, Nagarjuna were participated in it. They wrote scholarly works in Buddhism. And let us see the contribution to literature. Sanskrit literature received great encouragement during the reign of Kanishka. Many scholars wrote scholarly works in that language. Many learned scholars received royal patronage in his court. Ashwagosha, Nagarjuna, Vasumitra, Charaka were eminent writers in his court. Ashwagosha wrote scholarly works like Buddha Charita. This is considered as a masterpiece of Sanskrit literature. This book has 17 chapters, deals with the life and teachings of Buddha. Sundarananda Kavya, Sariputra Prakarana. He may be called a pioneer of literary awakening in that age. He was well versed in music, philosophy, literature, religion, and debate. It was he who presided over the fourth Buddhist council held at Kundalavana in Kashmir. Nagarjuna was also a great scholar and philosopher. He was known as the best exponent of Mahayanism, or the witch, a new theory of Buddhism. He wrote a book called Prajna Paramita Shastra, which is considered as unique a book on philosophy and science. He explained the theory of relativity in his book. Hence, he is called the Indian Einstein among the scientists of India. Vasumitra presided over the Buddhist council held at Kashmir. Vasumitra was a great philosopher, wrote a book called Mahavibhasha. He was the vice president of the fourth Buddhist council held at Kundalvana. His book is an encyclopedia of Buddhism. He also extended his support to Mahayana sect of Buddhism, Charaka. He was an Ayurvedic expert, wrote a book called Charaka Samhita in Sanskrit. This book is considered as a pioneer book even today by the modern medicinal practitioners. Agesilaus was a great Greek engineer of his time, helped for the planning, designing, and construction of beautiful chaityas, monasteries, towns, etc. Let us see the administration of the Kushanas. With the help of the coins found in different parts of the empire, we come to know that Kanishka organized a good administration in his kingdom. The vast empire included many foreign countries also. Hence, their administrative system consisted of some foreign elements along with the Indian coins. In order to make an effective control over such a vast empire, the Kushana rulers divided it into several administrative units such as Rashtra, Avaras, Janapadas, Deshas, and Vishayas and Gramas, etc. Thus, Kushanas, even though foreigners, systematically contributed to the Indian culture. They never destroyed our heritage, they spread Indian religion and culture abroad. Their contributions in the field of Gandhara art and Mathura art is worth remembered. The fourth Buddhist council conducted by Kanishka and settled the differences of Mahayanism and Hinayanism. Sanskrit flourished very well during Kanishka's time. Buddhism emerged as an international religion during this time. This is how the Kanishka contributed for the development of Buddhism, Indian heritage and culture. And these are the important reference books for the study of Kushanas. Thank you.